It's a beautiful morning here in County Offaly, and I'm going to spend the day with local vet Donal Lynch. Now, as a rural vet, he covers a huge area and meets all kinds of animals with all kinds of ailments. He has a lot of patients lined up for us today, so it's going to be a busy one. Donal is somewhat unusual among vets in that he comes from an urban background, born and raised in Blanchardstown in County Dublin. He qualified as a vet in 2000 and began practising here in Tullamore 4 years later.
My mother's from a farm, and I suppose my father's father would be from a farm. I would have spent a lot of time with my mother's brother in Kerry, so I suppose I saw farming there from a young age. But then, like going to college, something has to pay for college. So for a job, I worked on farms and with agricultural contractors, and I worked on a big dairy farm, a 250 cow dairy farm in Dublin.
This morning, Donal is managing to grab some breakfast with his family, wife Laura and children Susanna and Killian, something that can be a rare event in busy times.
There'd be days you could start at 5 o'clock in the morning, you could be going till after midnight. Like last night now, for example, I only got home there at 2 o'clock this morning. You know, that's part of what we've signed up for. I try at least some part of the day to spend a bit of time with them. In the busy springtime, like I'd have gone weeks there where I'd be gone in the morning before they're up and they'd all be in bed before I get home. So like when you do get a chance, I think it is important that you spend a bit of time with them.
Breakfast over and we're off to our first call of the day, the farm of Leo Monaghan by the banks of the Royal Canal, where a stallion is waiting to be gelded.
This stallion here now, I'd say he's only 3-year-old probably, so he's fairly handleable. You get an 8 or 9-year-old stallion and like you won't walk him out of a box, he'll walk you out of the box. Like a fully entire stallion is a big animal, hard to handle. So we wanted, like in this case, we want to castrate him so he can go on and be used as a riding horse or a jumper or an eventer.
This is the poor patient. The first step in the procedure is to administer a tranquiliser.
Sometimes now he might give a jump or he might stay quiet, but no, that's not abnormal. So we talk to him again and, come on, good boy. Okay.
Is that a fairly immediate effect on him now?
Within a couple of minutes, we'd tend to see his head starting to drop a little bit.
A now slightly drowsy stallion is walked out to the field where a strong sedative is given.
The first thing is when he does go down, right, some horses lie down nice and gently, some don't, right? So just don't get caught. They tend to go backwards and kind of fall over themselves backwards. This is the full anaesthetic, so this actually makes him lie down and go completely asleep, so he won't be able to feel anything.
Good man. Good man. That's good man. Good man.
Once the animal is fully under, Donal has to work quickly. Job done. All our former stallion needs now is a tetanus shot as well as some painkillers.
That's all I have to do to it.
So that's it. He's got his antitoxin, he's got a bit of pain relief.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
he doesn't have his testicles anymore.
Maybe he's better off.
As our patient was getting back on his feet, Donal got a call out to a dangerously sick cow which had calved only 2 days previously on the farm of Cathal.
We do have a problem here with a teat that's very cold and the milk that's coming out of it is quite bad. So she has what looks like quite a serious form of mastitis.
This animal needs treatment and quickly. It's actually quite distressing to see the animal that sick.
She is quite bad now.
A cow with mastitis requires warm fluids administered, which Donal does using a stomach pump.
Each 3 movements of this gives about 1 litre to the cow.
Now, that's something coming out of her teat, is it?
Yeah, that's gas coming out, which would be an indication of about as serious a type of mastitis as you get. This cow is very sick. I'm going to give her an antibiotic and an anti-inflammatory.
Are you giving her quite a strong antibiotic?
I am. I'm giving her as strong as we have in this case. I might get you a call. Maybe you can just hold this to it. We're giving her 2 different types of antibiotics that work well together.
Okay. Is it upsetting, Cathal, when you see an animal of yours in distress?
Particularly young animal. You know, an old animal you might accept a bit more, you know. Particularly young animal, young calf.
It's a blow financially as well.
Oh, sure, yeah. But you get over that, believe it or not, you know. But you just don't like to lose them, you know.
Yeah.
What's wrong with her is quite serious, but we do have a lot of things going in our favour. So hopefully.
Hopefully.
It'll be all right.
Leaving this animal under Cahill's watchful eye, we headed 20 miles south to the farm of John Moyles. At this time of year, a lot of Donal's work is checking cows to make sure that they're ready for conceiving next year's calves.
A cow should come in season every 21 days. And she should come in season for the first time within 6 weeks after calving. If she doesn't, that then becomes a problem.
John Moyles is new to dairy farming. Previously, the family farm was primarily a beef-based enterprise. At the moment, he milks 70 cows, but plans to more than double that over the next couple of years. Donal relies on a high-tech screening method to examine the cow using a videoscope, which sends an image to his goggles.
The first thing we look and see, is she clean? Does she have any sign of infection in her uterus? Which in this case she doesn't. The cow is very clean. This cow has been in season, but oftentimes cows don't show when they're in season. Cows, if they don't come in season, they don't go and calf. If they don't go and calf, you don't get a calf. And if for a dairy farmer, you don't get milk.
It was then time to head back to base, where we had another patient waiting to be seen. A bull which had been brought in for his annual NCT ahead of the start of the breeding season.
What we want to do is ensure that this bull is fertile. So when the farmer lets him out, that we're confident he's going to get cows and calf. There's not much point in having him out for 2 or 3 months and at the end discovering that there's a very small number, or in some cases, no cows and calf.
To check his fertility, the bull needs to be stimulated so that he can produce a semen sample for Donal to analyse. Once the semen is collected, it needs to be analysed as soon as possible.
We do a number of tests, and you'll notice I'm keeping it in my hand to keep it warm. Semen warm.
Okay.
So
you're looking for swimmers now, you're looking for...
Exactly, yeah, and I'm going to show you now. And you'll be able to tell everybody whether this bull is good or not.
There's an awful lot in there, Donal.
There is. That bull would be a very good looking bull now. Be very happy with the semen sample.
I can confirm we have an extremely fertile bull. And a very happy farmer, no doubt. A career as a vet demands commitment. Every day brings its own challenges. And for Donal, it's a lifelong learning process.
I'll always look at something and I look and say, could I have done better? Could I do a better job for the individual animal, or could I do a better job for the farmer? I'd like to say that whenever I do retire, I could look back and say that I did do my best and that we'd been there and we'd helped people out and helped animals out.
Well, that's it for this week. Next week on Ear to the Ground, Dara asks, is there any money in milk?
We're in a strong, resilient position. We were still able to make a few pounds in 2009, and I believe we'll still be in a position to make some money in 2015.
Rearing wild boar in County Cork.
Somebody said that they had a herd of wild boar to sell, and of course Muggins here thought it would be a great idea.
And selling cattle online in County Mayo.
The next thing, your bid is accepted. And the next thing, we start jumping around the kitchen. Hooray, we've done it, we've done it!
Until next week, goodbye.
Don't forget this programme will be repeated on Sunday at lunchtime after the farming weather. You can contact us by phone, email or follow us on Facebook or Twitter. And you can hear more rural stories on Countrywide with Damien O'Reilly on Saturday morning on RTE Radio 1.